Good morning, guys. Sincere here with whoissincere.com. I'm a little discouraged. It's my third time actually doing this video. First time that I've ever done a video. It's been erased a couple times, but I'm gonna do this video again, and I'm gonna do it right this time and actually save it right this time. So, what we're looking at here is heavy metal. This is a comic book, as you can see here, the illustrated fantasy magazine. I'm sure some people viewing this will already be familiar with the heavy metal covers, and, they have a very long history, I think going back to the 1970s. They write about a wide variety of issues, political, social issues, you name it, they write about it. They have a lot of different content, a lot of it being dark content. So a lot of it, just, it's a different kind of magazine, a different kind of comic book. The relevance of this comic book today, this one is from 1990. After I just got done doing a video here recently, a video just detailing how Jade Helm is nothing more than, it's a build-up. It's a build-up, but it's an exercise that's just in preparation for the next stage of transformation in the United States. Now, you're going to hear a lot of conspiracies out there, the financial crisis and the collapse and UFOs and, a lot of stories. Maybe they'll all happen at the same time. I don't know. What I do know, however, is if we stay responsible and we follow the trail of facts, it'll normally, the hidden facts, that the ones, not the ones you hear on the news, those aren't facts, but you find the facts, and we keep a nice trail of facts that we share amongst ourselves. We can find some of these hidden truths. We really can. So, check out my video on my website. It's called Jade Helm, This Could Get Me Killed, Part 1 and 2. It details our connection with Israel to China, well, not our connection with Israel to China, but Israel's connection with China as far as funding them for over the last 20 years with all kinds of defensive and offensive weaponry and working with in partnership with Russia in doing so. We never hear that on our news media. No news anchor ever covers that aspect of Israel. Yet you got people running around the country talking about stand with Israel and all this other kind of stuff. No, don't stand with the people that are funding your military enemies. So that's just my view and just my opinion. Everybody is free to feel their own way. July 1990. Want to go ahead and get into this and show you. I've downloaded. Let me show you guys here. This is what I've done. Let's see here. What I've managed to do is download the comic strip that we're actually going to look at about Donald Trump today. It's called The Wall, as you can see right here. So I've downloaded that in picture form. I've taken screenshots of all of these, and I'm going to actually go through that that way instead. Excuse me. All right. This is probably going to be one of the most important films that you see. The Wall was written by and illustrated by Peter Cooper in 1990. In this comic strip here, he decides to lay out pretty much Donald Trump's dream and rise to presidency and his dream to build a wall. But he tells an interesting story that's intertwined, with this comic strip, and not just about Donald Trump's rise. It's also about the socioeconomic conditions that we're currently experiencing in America and the direction we're going with our stock market and things like that. So let's go through this comic together. I'm going to try to keep it kind of short. The first video was about a half an hour long. Maybe this will be as long, maybe a little bit shorter, but I'm going to try to do this as quick as possible and still maintain integrity and, give you guys as much as I can. All right, we look at the first picture. What's the first thing you notice? Opiates are the drug of the masses. This is in 1990. Bring us your tired, your poor, your huddled masses. You see them all outside the wall there, the guard tower. The guard tower. You have the barbed wire at the top. It's just, it's filthy out. To hell with that. Keep the peasants at arm's length. So you can see what kind of, society they're living in. On one side of the wall, it's good. On the other side of the wall, it's not good. Out of sight, out of mind. After all, this is New York. So this takes place actually in New York. Now, of course, Trump is talking about building a wall in for the whole, southern border, which is definitely possible. It's a good feat, but it's possible. But nevertheless, building the Great Wall. If you'll notice here, I'm not sure, and I'm still on the fence about this. On the bad side of town, and you can see where the buildings are all close together, so it's an urban population here, compared to the good side of town with the green grass and the birds and space and between the buildings and stuff and good streets. On the bad side of town here, you have either I'm not sure whether you have something coming from out of the sky is an asteroid, a bomb, or if you actually have a fire burning in the building and it's going up into the sky. So, based on the way that the smoke looks at the top, it looks like a tail and it looks like a collision. So, I just want to point that out to you. It says, but let me go back before the wall was built. You got people standing around talking about it, pretty much the good old times. They're standing outside in the trash can with the fire. Okay, keep an eye on that kid with the crown right there. He shows up all the time. See that little crown right there? Watch him. He shows up all the time through this comic. And it says, in a certain way, the wall was always there. It just wasn't visible. It was just invisible. And you can see the poor guys asking for spare change. That's their declaration right there, letting you know, hey, the wall has always been here, in this economic enslavement that we're actually all in. It's just that, it's more invisible, Everyone feels like they're included in something bigger when really they're just only helping a handful of people that are at the top, and they're not even helping themselves at all. So, this elitist system is twisted and sick. So it's the next slide. Still, decent people had to put up with all kinds of harassment and discomfort. Please help me. You see the lady there, fur coat. She has the fur around her neck, which is a dead animal. They did a nice play on that fur. I like that. With the little poodle, and you see the guy. He's starving. He's dying pretty much. And that's pretty much the rhetoric that we're starting to hear today in this insensitive culture that we have, this demoralized culture that we have. Excuse me. We're starting to get people that feel like that feel like they could just walk over you. Don't look the other way. I have more important things to do. Here you go again. You got the ladies walking up the streets, disgusting. Why don't they get a job? It says the annoyances were downright disgusting. And you see the police officer, law enforcement guy, batting off the people, telling them get back, scum. And you see them all, kind of reaching out. I mean, if this isn't an accurate depiction, this is 1999 or 1990, guys. So this says a lot. When I saw this, it just started speaking to me. Here you have, it says soon that invisible barrier just wasn't enough. You have people that are coming over the barrier now, and they're angry, they're upset, they can't believe all the things that have, been done to them. And it says, the police officer is saying, I was only doing my job. You have the watchtower that's up here with the people looking, the plane flying overhead, which is significant. Enter Harry Helmsley and Donald Trump, two forward-looking gentlemen who realized it was high time to get together and sign that dotted line. They have the solution together. Let's see. Right here, it looks like there's some chaos going on, so they just, they're figuring how can they get in the middle of that chaos and fix those things and, excuse me, I should have got some water first. But the thing is, they're not going to get in the middle of the chaos to just fix it. They're going to get in the middle of the chaos to exploit it, and that'll later be shown. Here we go. And so began. I'm sorry. And so began construction of the Great Wall. You can see everybody working on it there. There's that plane in the sky again. Okay. They moved with God's speed. It looks like a lot of work was going on. Law enforcement is patrolling the wall. You can see them. The people are looking oppressed. It met with little dissidents. You see that people are trying to protest the wall, stop the wall. They're getting shut down. Getting, looks like he's getting kneed in the back and getting written a ticket at the same time. Handcuffed and choked. Oh, wow. Look at that. Handcuffed behind his back and choked. Look at his face. Look at the expression while the cop is writing him a ticket. That'll send chills up your spine. Think about everything that's going on right now. Handcuffed and choked. Wow. Before you could say Mar-a-Lago, the task was done. All right. You can see here. They're putting up the wall. They have the police officers standing there guarding what appears to probably be contractors putting up the barbed wire and stuff. So they're getting it done pretty fast. Let's see. A magnificent wall separating the east from the west, the good from the bad, a haven for the beautiful people. Yeah, you see the masses of people right here. They're all standing around, all right here. These are people that are not going to get on the other side of the wall. If you see the law enforcement officers that are holding hands together to keep the people away from the luxury limousine cars that are riding through. Now, if you'll notice, there's a trap down here. There's the steel trap down here on the road. See that? Okay. On a historic day, thousands crowded in anticipation as Harry's wife, Leona, cut the cord. Keep off the grass on this side. No, it's fine. Leona was graced with the job of selecting the haves and the have-nots. Darling, your new nose is too perfect. See, that's Joan Rivers right there. Okay. Joan Rivers in a 1990 comic. How about that? For this time period, the Trump time. Anyway, let's keep going. The only checkpoint where the Queen stands guard. You look fab, do come in. Where the Queen stands guard. You can see the guard shack with the guards up there on the other side, making sure that people are going to stay out. The officers, standing arm in arm, making sure that people, don't, bum rush the vehicles and stuff. Seems like the party lasted for years. They're having a good time on the other side. Balloons flying, on the other side of the fence, while people are living in, poverty over here. They're living in downtrodden circumstances. So, the wall was it was meant to keep people out from good as well. So, from them enjoying things. So this wall wasn't designed to just it wasn't designed to help anybody but the people they wanted to help, the elite. Other than that, anybody else, if you're on the other side of that wall, which appeared to be the urban area, or the lower income areas, then you're pretty much of no use. For a good while, everything ran smoothly. You see how Trump converted the one side to Helmsley, Trump Fifth Avenue, Ches Trump, opulent living, decadence, luxury automobiles, everything that you can want, it's right there. All right, and they're turning everything into them owning everything. But in time, it became clear that half an island would not be big enough to support two titans. So you can see that, this isn't working out for them. They don't have enough space. They both have too many big ideas. You can see on the other side, too, that thing that I was telling you coming from the sky. This is what I was talking about before. You see that? That's on the other side of the wall. As you can see, that's the wall right there. Trump on everything. Helmsley on everything. They brought out the media. So they own all the media, they own all communications. See that? Okay. Progressive building up more of their name, more of their brand on the American dollar. This is, let me just go back to saying that. When I say on the American dollar, that should ring, that should make you feel some kind of way, because this guy is a billionaire that's literally told everybody, I am the financial interest group. I am the one who's been financing politicians for years. Now, we have been, those of us in the background that love this country, we've been fighting against guys like this for years, because we don't want our politicians buckling to special interest groups, especially special interest groups that have an extreme agenda. So with that being said, Donald Trump is one of those guys. We have no idea all of the money that he's invested over a game of golf, or, going out, to a luncheon or whatever he may do to, invest this money, or they may have him come do, or however it works. We have no idea. We can't track all that money. We don't know what this man has invested in and invested in for these politicians. I think it's mighty funny that none of them are taking a really big swing at him. Nobody's taking a really big swing at this guy, and they should be taking a huge swing. He is exactly what the establishment doesn't need. We don't need the establishment we have now, but he is exactly what we don't need. So I just think that's quite ironic that we're willing to be that irresponsible as Americans to overlook the fact that this is the guy that has been financing special interests for years. He literally tells you that. He tells you this is the name of the game. Hey, if it's there for me to exploit, I'm going to exploit it. This is what a billionaire is telling you. He's not telling you, hey, I'm a moral person. He's saying, no, if there's an opportunity for me to exploit, I'm going to exploit it. I don't care at whose cost it may happen, who's going to pay the cost, as long as I'm not going to pay the cost. That's why he's able to get away with the bankruptcies and stuff and still have $9 billion worth of properties. You try to bankrupt yourself and have $9 billion worth of properties. It's not going to work for you. And $350-something million in cash. And God knows how much credit. We don't talk about that. So, at the end of the day, these people are so ultra rich and so ultra wealthy that they can buy whole cities. They can go buy a state if they want. So it's not really, this is not the people that we want in presidency and power. People that will never have our vested interest, that will ever listen to us, because anybody that we can try to dream up to have opposition towards, they can get paid off. I'm just keep it real with you. But anyway, so Helmsley is upset. Island is getting too small for him. Said that little son of a has pushed me too far. I want Trump eliminated. You see Trump in his eyes, got his goon behind him. All right. Trump's associates were served their eviction notice. Failure to respond to this notice will result in penalties, and immediate steps will be taken to remove you and your possessions from the premises. Night of the Long Skates, as it became known, culminated in the burning of Trump's Woolman Rink. You see everything Trump burning, people running around, and all that kind of crazy stuff. Trump himself narrowly escaped with his life and a bit of pocket change. You can see him barely getting out of there, going straight through the wall that him and Helmsley built. And he was forced to go underground on the west side. So now he's on the other side. He's on the poor side. And if you look, he's in a hole in the ground, which is meant to look like a manhole. But if you look at the shape of it, it's a heart. It's a heart in the middle of the street, and it's a hole. Somebody was thinking when they really drew this picture. So he's forced to go on the west side and go into hiding. But a man like Trump was not to be kept down. This is 1990, guys. Helmsley will pay, the guardian demon. He quickly organized and formed alliances. And you think about it, Helmsley's hit us both below the belt. But with teamwork, Mike, we can be number one again. And you see him putting a hat on Mike Tyson's head. You see him handing him cash, saying, here, have a hat. And Tyson becoming Trump's lackey because he gets a little prize of a hat and a little bit of money and a quote unquote purpose. Let's keep it moving. His guardian demons rose up from the ranks of the angry and dissatisfied. Why don't you have a job? One reason, Helmsley. And you see that right here. He has Tyson with him, his little lackey with him again. Here, now he's handing a hat to them. And as an example, he has this strong, African-American male fighter saying, if this guy is on my side and you see him wearing this hat, you got to put this hat on too, because we're all standing up for the same cause together. Now remember, Donald was the man at the beginning who was the reason for the wall. So Donald is only acting in his own interest right now. Then that's what Trump does. He acts in his own interest. And the interests of his constituents, his family. The rest of the United States is not his constituents or his family. Seth Meyers said a really good joke, at a presidential dinner when he was talking about him, and he said recently Donald Trump said he had a great relationship with the blacks. He said unless the blacks are a white family, I bet he's mistaken. And everyone laughed, and they know it's true. Donald Trump, he has a certain group of constituents that he deals with. Anybody else, they just work for him, period. So you see that there's that guy with the little crown again right there. Boom, he's in the picture. He's looking on like, okay, it's going down. I'm looking, paying attention. Now you see that the guardian demons are out in the streets and they're building up the masses of the people that are listening to serve and protect. Why do we live like this? Helmsley, here, have a free hat. You see the flames coming out of that building, or now in this case it looks like flames coming out of the building, and then above it you see again another airplane. These hints towards the airplane and the flames coming out of the building, they have to be noted. Okay, look at the times that we're in, guys. An unstoppable juggernaut. Whose fault? Helmsley. Now the guardian demons are. Their numbers are multiplying. They're building up their strength, and Donald Trump is at the front of this rogue group. Okay, this rogue group that's going to go after Helmsley, and you see that guy with the hat is right there again. So Helmsley, he's living in opulence over here. He's watching MTV on the flat screen. He's complacent with his success. And on the screen here, it's NTV, which is a playoff at MTV. But it's saying, that concludes tonight's Bites. Here on NTV, where the only good news is good news. Now stay tuned for the porno classic, Hannah Does Her Sisters. This is 1990, and it's talking about Hannah on NTV. Does it sound familiar? Hannah, Miley, MTV? Put it together. So you have Trump over here now with his hands on the explosives, and he's pointing out Helmsley's location to his new lackeys that he has working for him. He's saying, here's my plan. He's hatching a terrorist plan, and he's pointing at an X on the map to strike, for that plan. Here we see people breaking into a high voltage fence. We see them tying someone up. We see Helmsley being pretty complacent up here. Try not to look at that if that's uncomfortable for you in this next one. But we see that they're running away from the facility, from the electrical facility. Helmsley is tied into his little X-rated vids. It's a cartoon, so it's really not X-rated, but you got the TikTok going right there. He's not paying attention. Helmsley's on this thing. It blows up. Now he's in the dark. Oh my God. It's the first thing people always do when things go dark. They call God. I think Lauryn Hill said it the best. He said they don't something about they don't believe in God, but the fear is just the same. So it's a funny thing when that fear kicks in. People will call God in a heartbeat, people that denounce him all the time. So it's dark on the nice side of town. It's done on the nice side of town. The electric is out. The electrical grid has been attacked by this rogue group of individuals that Donald Trump has financed and brought up with his money and with his promises. You see the fire still burning, and the smoke coming out of the building on this side of town, and you see the people actually standing around. See the people down there on the ground. Excuse me. Now you see Trump's guardian demons blasting through the wall. There you go, and it came tumbling down. You see the Leo on the other side jumping back. Alright, the shooting and pillaging lasted through dawn, but miraculously none of Trump's properties were touched. Yeah, miraculously, right? And you see him looting everything, the fires and all that. Harry and Leona Helmsley were given this ceremonious bon voyage. My hair is just ruined. See the little guy right there? There he is again. With his little crown hat. And Donald Trump crossed over the line, a hero. Everybody's happy. Guardian demons are around, still working for Trump. They got him hoisted up in the air. Everybody, we love Trump. He's now the leader of the people. You have here, what is that? And Donald Trump, yeah, okay, hold on. I wanted to point out something that was on here. Oh, there he is. Then you have your guy down here. My hand was in the way. You have your guy down here with his hat on again. So he pops up yet in another photo again. So let's keep that moving. Said, I had a scheme, and that has brought we the people to this glorious moment. I hold in my hands plans for a monument we will never forget. I hold in my hands plans for a monument so we will never forget our great struggle, a symbol of the spirit with which it will be built. Do you see do you see his tongue? The devil's tongue? Okay. Let's keep it moving. And so it came to pass that the new People's Monument was created. What do you see different? Absolutely nothing. They built a bigger, better fence. Nothing. Nothing changed. This side of town is still poor. It's still downtrodden. It's looking like there's less people down there now. So I'm sure something has happened on the lines of the thinning out of the population of people. The building fire is actually looking like it's died down a little bit. It looks more wispy in this picture. Maybe it's because it's a little bit later on in time, so things are starting to die off. Maybe that's a sign of things. So let's go down. A shining achievement spawning north to south. You hear that? A shining achievement spawning north to south. So letting you know this was a long wall. Okay, it wasn't a short wall at all. This was a very long wall. And you can see the little guy down there writing "Dump Trump" on the wall, commemorating all the little people who had helped Trump realize his dream. And it's funny how his dream actually came about. The dream only comes about because the same people in the beginning that he ended up interjecting into situations and tricking is what ended up being the same situation again when he got ousted, and he wanted to go exploit those people so he can get put back into his position so that he can do the same thing that he did to him the first time. That just lets you know that the plan never changes. It never changes. They'll use whatever means they have to use to keep moving on to the next plans. As an ex-military guy, as somebody that, if you know from my other video, like I said, go watch that video that I did, Jade Helm, I Could Get Killed for This, part 1 and part 2. You'll hear me talk about myself being a veteran, and I'm telling you, as somebody that knows that about pre-planning, they pre-plan a lot of events. They pre-plan tongue is all twisted, pre-plan a lot of things that you see going on out here in the world. So when you think that you're seeing things by accident, sometimes no, it wasn't an accident. It was planned 10 years ago. It was planned 20 years ago. In the case of Jade Helm being the precursor exercise for Army After Next, it was planned 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago. So this is not something where we're, people aren't speculating anymore. This is reality. This is what's going on now. And people are starting to wake up and say, wait a second, how can you know what's going to happen 10, 20, 30 years in advance and then it happens? There's a certain sector of people that understand a different level of knowledge than some of us people understand. And they see a different level of possibilities than certain, more than some of us can see. So the little guy's down there, the guy with the crown on his hat that kept popping up to the little pictures all throughout the comic strip. He's writing "Dump Trump" on the wall. The bug is telling him, hey, you kid, don't rock the boat. Bye. The youth of today, no respect for history. Oh well, all's wall that ends wall. So what that's pretty much telling you is, he's saying, look, nobody else is writing on the wall. You're not respecting history right now. This is the wall that you asked for. Didn't you guys rally? Didn't you guys say this is the reason why? Didn't you agree to build the wall? So you're building the wall to your own entrapment, so don't complain about it now. Don't rock the boat. Back up. Remember, this is your option. And that's the cruel nature of it. So that's a breakdown, guys, of this story. I mean, I'm going to leave some links below. You guys go to my website, whoissincere.com, and you're going to see, man, like, this to me, I got to give a shout out to Gary in California, I believe he is, for contacting me after I put out my videos. He contacted me and was trying to, get this information to me. He said that, I believe he said something along the lines of, he's being, kind of pushed off to the side when it comes to the Jade Helm stuff. So there's a lot of, trolls out here and stuff that are willing to put a lot of dislikes on your videos so it doesn't get, great placement in the search results and stuff like that. It won't get a lot of plays or visibility. We have to be mindful in how we search for videos too, because there's guys like this young man out in California that he just happened to have some hard copies of this magazine, dating back to 1990. I mean, that's something else if you really think about it. Dating all the way back to 1990. That's when this was. 1990. Here it is, 2015, and what is the biggest thing that Donald Trump is talking about? A wall. Out of all the things he could have said to do to the border, a wall. A wall that is going to lock the people in instead of letting them get out. So, walls, they have two sides. There's two sides to every story, guys and girls. This Donald Trump character, he is not the person that we should be picking for president. I've given you my reasons why. Now that you've seen this, hopefully you understand that, when you see images like this, you know that there's a lot more at play. I need, some of my smart people that have been doing this for a long time, I need you to get on some of these pictures and actually, get this YouTube, repost this information. I don't mind, if you give me a little bit of credit for this and just repost the information. I'm not going to put any ads on or anything. Repost it, get the information out there, let folks know. How did this end up being the cartoon of 1999 and it's talking about the, Donald Trump's wall now? Maybe it's not concrete evidence, but doesn't it seem a little bit eerie and no one's talking about it? If that guy didn't show me the comic, that he had the hard copy, and I went through that video again and again so I could keep trying to see what issue, what year and stuff like that. and I eventually found it after a lot of searching through archives. So I need you guys to get this out there. I'm going to save a link for you, or share a link right in this video below. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I will be doing a ton more videos. I have some very, very interesting, groundbreaking topics to talk about. Like I said, I'm a United States Army veteran. I love this country. I love people. It doesn't matter if you're white, black, yellow, red, brown. It does not matter to me. If you have a good heart and a good soul, and you're a person that's looking for the truth, please subscribe to my channel. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you share it with a friend. Let somebody know, hey, look, this guy, he's a sane guy. He's an okay guy. He wants to explain things to us in a way that we can all understand it. I don't want to speak above anybody's head. We can go deep on topics. I can go very, very deep on topics. But I like to speak slowly. I like to make sure everybody can understand where we're going all at the same time. And I want you to be able to share this with your friends so that they can have the same experience, and people's minds and hearts and their eyes will begin to open all at the same time. That's what we need, a collective movement of people awakening and becoming educated all at the same time. If we keep getting hit by the propaganda machine, we'll never get to that level of education that's going to give us the freedom we need from the bondage that we're in. We're enslaved right now. We're enslaved. And the trick of the slavery is we're enslaved with our eyes open. We're not even blinded by this slavery. We're blinded by our self-righteousness, by our self-pride, by our self-indulgences. We are blinded by self right now. And what happens? The propaganda comes in to make you think about self more and more and more. And then the fear propaganda comes in. So now you're thinking about yourself all the time, and then you're fearful of everything that's not dealing with yourself. We have to get out of that. People are not, they're not scary. You got to network with people. We got to talk to people again. If not, we risk being in this kind of society. This is where we are right now with race relations, race wars. There goes that little crown guy again, right there. So you understand what I'm saying? And that's funny. That's the first time I've seen him with somebody in this picture. So I guess his mom didn't make it to the end. So I guess that kind of validates what I was saying, as far as it looks like there's less people now. So he was the only one standing at the wall in the end. We got to stop this, guys. We got to stop these things from happening. People are hurting. We need to collectively come together and fix these situations, and we can. We can't allow people like Donald Trump to come into office, and you know he doesn't have everybody's interests at heart. You know that this man is not a good man for the country. You know this. You know, morally speaking, that this man is not a good man for the country. Just like he's an opportunist, and the artist depicted him. I mean, the artist did an excellent job doing this thing. Peter Cooper, excellent job making this man, and just the way the artist depicted him, we know that he's a selfish man with selfish goals. He's not the man for president that he's making himself seem to be. When has Trump just ever been a shining beacon of light and hope in any community except for the people that he's going to employ? Come on, man. That's false. It's fraudulent. Go visit Trump Casino in Atlantic City. The casino, in my opinion, the casino is freaking ugly. And the inside of it is not that much better, but it's one of the prime, it is the prime location in AC. You're riding in, man. You're going to run right into Trump's casino, so he's catching all that money and has been for quite some time. Look at Atlantic City, though, man. It's a dump. I'm not even going to lie to you. I can't stand that place. I grew up going there, and it was okay, way back in the day when I was a child. When I became a man, I said, nah, I won't let my kids play on that beach. I won't let my kids walk around in that city. You crazy? Nah, I'm not doing it. So at the end of the day, I don't expect Trump to become a president and to wake up and to say, hey, you know what? I'm just going to fix everything. I've never been a man that's about small community and building up the community, really. But now that I'm president, I'm going to be about the community and the smaller people that I never thought about before. Come on, man. That's not even logical. The special interest guy saying that's not logical, man. America needs to wake up. Just like they said Obama did a lot of the marketing. He got Marketer of the Year for his marketing campaign. They never seen anything like it, when he was becoming president. Well, that's because of the way that he was able to exploit the demographic that he was going after, which was the African American vote. And since he's gotten in office, he hasn't done anything for African Americans. He's done a lot for LGBT people. Nothing for African Americans. We're not getting anywhere as far as social reform, justice, income equality, or education equality. Nothing's changing in the tax reform code that would help our school systems be more competitive with the school systems on the other side of town. Nothing. So at the end of the day, we didn't get anything, and this guy got Marketer of the Year because he was able to exploit that demographic. Trump is doing the same thing. He's just doing it to reverse. He's not doing it for white people. I hate to say this, but for you people that are, patriots, you ones that are in the woods and think that we need one last final stand and one last hope and I hate to say it, one last great white hope, you are being deceived. He is playing to the base level of your intellect. He has read a report just like he reads the polls every day on how to talk to you, on the key things to say and to keep saying to make you believe him. And you're falling for it. You have to stop falling for this. If you fall into this category of a person that's listening to the rhetoric and the propaganda out there that's coming out of Trump's mouth and out of Trump's camp, just realize that this is a multi-millionaire and he's valued at billions, and he can pay any analyst in the world to analyze any demographic to figure out how to perfectly talk to them. And just like in this situation where he wouldn't deal with the lower level people for a long time, he built the wall until he got ousted and he felt, okay, I got to get myself back in the position. And then he exploited people. We have to watch out what we're allowing these people to do. We have something called a constitution, and we're not going to be able to keep it. We are not going to be able to keep it, because we're going to give it away out of ignorance. Wake up. Do not let Trump become Marketer of the Year like Obama did and take us down the drain even further. I didn't vote for Obama. I'm not going to vote for Trump either. At the end of the day, I'm not voting for anybody that's a damn clown. Excuse my language. It's too much. It's too many clown games going on. There's real serious issues we can fix dealing with income equality, education equality, and poverty. We can literally fix those things today. We have the resources for free energy today. We have the ability to change our wealth system today. And we're doing none of it. The reason we're doing none of it and our country is militarizing is for a far darker reason that I'm going to talk about in this video. So go to whoissincere.com, subscribe. I know I went off on a rant. Subscribe, but I have so much to say and I just don't have enough video time to say it on any video I do. I just want to keep talking. I want to shout this information to the world. Share it, share it, share it, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Sincere Speaks. Subscribe, like, share.